I'm Erin Heydt with 97.5 The Fanatic, and I'm getting the host reactions to last night's game versus the Cowboys.
I'm serious because it's a serious time, Erin.
Well, how serious are you about last night's game?
Well, it's the apocalypse. I mean, it's the end. I've lived through the end of a lot of eras, and the Ray Rhodes era that ended where they lost 5 straight games was the same thing. There's no reason to continue this current regime the way it is. I mean, I'm advocating that Jeffrey Lurie, just to give his fan base some hope, say, okay, Andy, it's been a great 14 years, but we're now committed to moving to the future, so we're going to give you leave right now. But that wasn't the case today. So I don't know how long the nightmare is going to go on.
I'm comfortably numb. In fact, I want to hear the song right now playing in the background. I am so comfortably numb. You know that song?
I do. That was the song that actually my dad heard first thing after I was born.
From The Wall? Mm-hmm. Really? Mm-hmm. Why did he hear that after you were born?
I don't know, it was the first song he heard on the radio after I was born.
Isn't that more interesting than talking about the Eagles? I mean, what else can you say? We're numb. They're 3-6. They're done. They're playing for their own jobs. We're working for our own jobs. I want the Eagles to work for their jobs. I want them to suffer the rest of the year because I'm not suffering anymore. I'm going to enjoy Thanksgiving next week. I'm going to enjoy the holiday season. I'm not going to let this team mess up my life and the rest of 2012.
Well, reaction to last night, like it could be any different than, the week before or the week before or the week before that. I mean, it's 5 losses in a row. It's the first 5-game losing streak of the Andy Reid era. And if this doesn't signify that, the coach has lost the team, they're not responding to the coach. I mean, I don't know what else you could possibly say. And now there's a report out that Andy Reid's going to go to Nick Foles for the final 7 games, and it could save his career in Philadelphia. I mean, if that's the case, I hope Nick Foles loses every game too. I just want the head coach out. It's time for a fresh voice, a new approach.
For the most part, just another beatdown. Not happy. Not much you could say about this team. Season's over. I said it last week after the loss to the New Orleans Saints. I know Andy Reid in his press conference that just happened a few minutes ago said, you know what? There's still plenty of games to be played on this schedule, but I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. There's going to be no playoff football this year, and for 2 months we're going to be talking about who's going to replace Andy Reid next year. So that's what we have, folks. That's what we have to look forward to.
What I see with the Eagles and what I thought was evident on the field yesterday was just guys that just aren't good enough to be starters in this league at many positions, and that goes to the Eagles off season. So I watched yesterday, and I think about the last 2 or 3 or 4 off seasons. Draft picks, signings, trades not working out, and that's how you get an inferior team yesterday, and that's what the Eagles are right now. They're an inferior freaking football team. How about that? You like that? They're inferior.
When I was watching it this morning, Aaron, it gets to the point where I hate watching them. I hate watching the Eagles. Like, I just know, like, the seeds of destruction, like just the techniques, the fundamentals of the game just aren't there right now. They're hard to watch. I got to analyze the whole league, so I get a chance to watch everybody in the league. And when I watch the Eagles tape, I'm like, how is this possible? Like, what? How does this? Where do they practice to be this bad sometimes? Yeah.
It's always something with these teams lately with Andy Reid, and yesterday was the special teams, and just an all-around poor performance. You can't really put your finger on one thing because it really is an overall team loss, but yesterday was just everybody knows. I mean, this is over. This is just a death march to the end of the season.
Want to hear more from me? Check out my Twitter handle, Heidi042.